Hey guys, welcome to the podcast. Super exciting day. I like how whenever I do this, my voice deepens. So I Googled some podcast questions and we're going to get right to it. Let's see. These are all really stupid questions. Oh, goodness. Anyway, I think kind of the direction I wanted to take this is really just taking a step back, and kind of reflecting on and remembering kind of what these moments mean, because I think especially with just everything going on, it is just so easy to take that step back. And honestly, I think when we get in that mindset, in that headspace, that's where we start to see kind of just that lessening or shifting happen, kind of where we just see, just what that looks like. And honestly, with me, I think when we're looking at these types of multifaceted issues, I just think it's really important to kind of think about what lens we're sort of looking at it through, right? What lens are we looking at this through? Because I think the solution is then also going to have to be multifaceted. And so when we're thinking about these things and discussing them and analyzing them and chewing them and spitting them out and wiping up that surface, I think it's just really important to think okay, well, if I'm looking at it in all these different directions and all these different perspectives, how can I then in turn bring those together, right? Bring those together and sort of look at it from all different directions all at once. I ultimately think that would just really ultimately what it all comes down to. I think that would really just give us a lot more perspective. And I think also, things like this are so important because I think it's really important to have these conversations. And these conversations, I think it's just really important that they're had to a certain extent and a certain level of importance. And if we kind of step back and import those conversalities, then the concept of importology versus importativeness will then convert the importation of non-importativeness. So at least that's just kind of my headspace right now, and sort of just the perspective and angle and stance that I'm taking on this and looking at this through. And I ultimately would invite you to do the same, because I think when we do look at things this way, it ultimately just gives us a lot more insight and perspective and just understanding. Not only understanding, but understanding. I think that's kind of where we need to approach. We need to take the approach of understanding rather than understanding. Or even overstanding, because I think sometimes when we get too into sort of importativeness of the conversalities like we were talking about earlier, I just, think we can get to a point where we're just barely understanding. But when we understand, when we take that step back and look at things like we were talking about in all different directions all at once, and just the analyzation of the analogies of just the process of analyzing, that just really can give us a lot more perspective and ultimately give us that understanding that I think we're all just really searching for. So that's kind of just where my head's at. I know just in light of everything going on, with there being so much going on from here to there, from A to Z, from boop-de-whoop to whatever the case may be, I just blase, just whatever it is, I think it is just so important to kind of just think about, just what lens we're looking at this through. And I think when we do that, we'll ultimately be able to just have a lot more perspective. So that's just really the heart of this podcast, and the heart behind it is just having understanding. So thank you guys for listening and watching. If you're watching, I know this is a crazy time for all of us. There's so much going on, but a lot of great things can happen when we all come together. So thanks again. This has been so fun, so great, and we hope to see you for the next episode of, what was this called? Of A Few Choice Words, but so worth it. Thanks, guys. Hey everyone, Melody here. If you liked what you heard today, be sure to follow us on all of our social medias. Everything is at A Few Choice Words _podcast. We'd love to get your feedback. What do you want to hear? What do you want us to cover? Who do you want us to have on the podcast? I think this could be a lot more enjoyable when we all come together. But thank you so much for listening to my few choice words, and I can't wait to get your feedback and hear what few choice words you got from the show, because at the end of the day, so worth it. Hey, we'll see you next time. Bye.